Hi, everyone.
Hello. We're here today. We're going to have a talk, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to have a Tim talk with our
And
tea. And
on
we didn't
cue.
plan it.
No.
And we're just doing this off the cuff. There's something that, like, we want to have these conversations. We'd like to know what you would like to have a conversation with us about. Anytime you want to chime in, leave a comment and we'll read it at the end.
And so Deanna and I notice patterns with our clients coming in, and we want to talk
Be-
about actually just really one big pattern that's been happening.
and because it's something that we've worked on really diligently about ourselves.
To overcome and to raise our own vibrations so that we're not feeding into the collective mainstream
Fear-based.
fear-based conversations
Yes,
that are
because
going on everywhere.
we have
Yeah,
a choice whether or not we want to listen or bring into our awareness, bring into our mind something that doesn't make us feel very good.
right, right. And so I've learned a long time ago that one of the things that doesn't make me feel good
Mm-hmm.
is watching the news.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get anxiety from watching the news. And it was very negative. And
Mm-hmm.
so I stopped watching the news. My children were young. My children never saw the news. And to this day, they're in their 20s and they don't watch the news. And
How do you
so,
get your news, though?
so it's interesting because if it's going to directly affect me, I'll hear about it.
Right.
You
We'll
know, and
hear
it,
about it from a client.
we'll hear about it. I'll hear about it from somewhere,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
have to actively seek what's going on all around the world.
Mm-mm.
I don't really need to know that, especially if it's negative. I want to know the good things that are going on around the world. And I
Yeah.
remember when it was in the 80s, and we had a
Mm-hmm.
friend
I know what you're going to say.
who is a publisher, and he went to Santa Fe to work
To
for
start a cup. Oh,
no, not to start it,
yes.
to work for a newspaper called the Good News newspaper. And he used
Yes.
to interview people, and he actually interviewed Shirley MacLaine was one of the people that
Yes.
he interviewed. And so he was even on the Phil Donahue show
Really?
with
I
other
remember.
newscasters, and the whole premise of the show was about the good news and then the negative news. And there
Mm.
was only one teeny little good news newspaper back then, and unfortunately, it didn't
It didn't
stay.
succeed.
And no, and but it was a wonderful newspaper. That was like I said, in the 80s,
But
before the internet and
fast
social
forward to
media.
today,
Yeah,
and we are bombarded.
bombarded,
And
bombarded.
so it's not only that it's words, but it's the energy of the words and it's the energy that it provokes within you. So if it's provoking an energy that doesn't feel good, you've got,
That it's
like a gut feeling,
fear,
it makes you afraid, gives you
anxiety.
anxiety, makes you feel anxious in any way, turn it off.
Right.
Don't bring it
Well,
into your
the other thing is,
awareness.
though, too, is that social media, people are repeating the
Mm-mm.
things that they read or they watch.
Not only on
And
social media, but on that's been the history of news. They say it over and over and over and
well,
over
yeah, but I
again.
mean, but now we've got it coming from all
All
directions.
directions.
But the thing is that we get to choose. We get to choose what we want to watch. We get to choose. And just on everyone's feeds, it comes up on everyone's
Yes, and
feeds.
people
And
are on their feeds all
and
the
and
time.
so then you're commenting and you're getting wrapped up into
Mm-hmm.
that negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I see is it's all divisive.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's perpetrated on our society to divide us, so that I know it's because people are more easily controlled when they're divided and when they're in fear.
So what we want to do is bring everyone together and for us to be responsible for our own vibration, what we are vibrating out into the universe, and to take the responsibility and be accountable for what you are giving out to the energy, just anywhere, even just thoughts or energy. And I do want to talk about the perfect example with a friend of mine who messaged me And she messaged me that screenshot of something that was on Facebook by one of her friends that made her feel very uncomfortable. And so so I told her to stop giving it any energy. Don't look at it anymore. Don't talk about it anymore. Don't give it any more energy. And think of things that you are grateful for and things that you love. So she responded back with, "Thank you so much for that. I really, appreciate that advice because I can give it because I've lived through it." And she said, "I started thinking about everything that I'm grateful for. And here she is on an island and in the beautiful sun and sand and enjoying life." And so that's what she was going to focus on. It made her feel so good.
Right, right. And there's so many little things during the day that we can focus on
Mm-hmm.
to just to feel good.
Because we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day.
Right. And so what we're putting into our subconscious and
Mm-hmm.
our conscious is going to come out
Mm-hmm.
in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come out when we're talking, or it's going to come out in our dream state. It's going to come out somehow because our brains have to process it. And so when, if somebody approaches me and they want to have a conversation about something really negative, I will ask them, that just to, I don't like abruptly change the schedule, the
Subject.
subject, but I do try to put a positive spin on
Well, you
everything.
encourage uplifting
Yes,
positivity. I've heard you.
yeah,
I've heard you many
and
times.
so that what we all need to be doing now
Mm-hmm.
is really sending love. Like if there's a war going on or there's a tragedy or a trauma, that instead of talking about it, which perpetuates the fear and the negativity about it, that we go into our hearts, just
Yeah.
go inward and just feel the love for how everyone is being affected by that situation. And if we all did that one simple little gesture, the whole world
Would
would be different.
change.
But by feeding the energy of the negativity, we're keeping the vibe low.
Yes.
So instead of keeping the vibe low, the one way to do it is just to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. And I love the anxiety breath. We'll demonstrate that again. It's ready.
Ready? When you do that 3 times, it just completely gives you a relaxed feeling. It calms you down.
And she's not acting. It's actually
Eh,
what happens. And we've noticed this before when we've been shooting video,
yeah.
that in the middle of the video, when we do this, everything calms down.
Yeah.
Our voices calm down. Everything calms down. And
And
another thing that I want to mention here is the Vimergy lemon balm tincture, which
okay.
if you can't quiet your mind, if the breath isn't working for you, I'm going to put it right up here in the corner, and I'll put a link in the description below. It will a tincture is a concentration of an herb, and it happens to be lemon balm.
Lemon balm.
And lemon balm is very calming for the nervous system. So it really helps to get into that more relaxed state. And a few dropperfuls right underneath your tongue. You can't OD on it. You can use as much as you need.
It's an herb. And it's very natural.
Yes, and it doesn't have, a lot of tinctures have alcohol in it. There's one brand that I order from does not have alcohol in it. And so you can take it any time of the day, and it calms your mind, your thoughts. Yeah.
I use it often before I go to bed because of the activity leading up to bed. I try to start, really calming down about an hour before I go to bed. But then I'll do about 3 or 4 dropperfuls
Yes.
of the lemon balm, and I sleep so much better. And I do just want to go back to not only when we're putting the loving energy out there for ourselves and put it out into the universe, to feel compassion, because that's what we all need, is love and compassion.
Yes, yes.
And so with that, we hope this is informative. I hope that it inspires you to really think about it. One last thing that I do want to say is that we were going through a really tough time, and there was illnesses and personal tragedies. And at one, it was getting towards, it was a couple years into it, and people would ask Deborah how she was doing, and she would say, "I'm thriving." And I just recognized that right in the moment, and how the vibration just changed, because, and then eventually you started really thriving by
Yes.
saying it. So our
Well,
words have power.
and not only that, things don't happen to us, they happen for us.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go through those hard times, it's part of being human. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to do that for our own soul's evolution. And so when we do that, how we, who we are when we come on the other side of that, all depends on how we handle it and how we look at things. And so, constant, taking better care of yourself during times like that, really going inward and feeling your heart energy and doing the meditations. And there's so many
Tools.
aspects and tools
So
to
many
that, so many
tools to
tools.
use.
And I have had so much trauma and difficulties in my life that I have a huge toolbox
Yes,
filled
and we'll
with
be
tools.
sharing those tools
Yes.
as we have these conversations. So again, one last time, just leave a comment, have a question. If you have a question, put it in the comments. We love the interaction with you, and we want to know what you want to hear about, because we've had a lot of life experiences being in our mid 60s, and we are so happy to guide, advise, and share with you. We all just want everyone feeling great all the time.
Yes, and also to make a difference in the world instead of complaining about it.
Yes,
yes. when we're sitting around complaining about it, it doesn't help.
No.
But when we're sending the love out and feeling the compassion for each other, no matter what, that's what is going to help and raise the consciousness of the world. And we can play our part.
Yes,
and it's so easy to do.
Yes.
And so thank you so much for watching.
So
if you love it, give us a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because we're going to be putting lots more of these talks out. And again, commenting makes our community thrive. And that would be so awesome if you would give us a comment. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.